Hey guys, it is Chris here. As promised, we are going to make the May Perpetual calendar insert. So I don't know who has been playing along, but I'm going to show you all the months we've done so far, and then I'll show you kind of my general idea. I did not pre-plan this a whole bunch. I just kind of have an idea in my head as to what we're going to do with May, but I wanted to show you a few things, even if we don't use them on this one, that you could use in the future for other things. So just let me share this over to my classroom and then we can get started. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my feed here. Okay. Okay, so first off, I'm going to show you all the inserts that we have done so far, because with, I do believe it was with the January-February idea book, close to my heart, started to release these months of the year stamp sets. So we're not going to use actually a ton of this one on this. We're just going to actually use the month for this one. But on lots of them, we've been using a whole pile of the stuff from the insert. So this is a product in the annual idea book, and it's a perpetual calendar. And so there's inserts and then a wood board to mount it on. So we started playing, and here are some of the past inserts. So this is the January one that we created. I did some ink blending, and it's hard to see on camera, but there's little snowflakes in the background. We added a little shaker window with the snowman, and then there is the iridescent flower are in the little shaker. So that was January. That was the fun we played with there. And then in February we did some smooshing with distress oxides, and there's stickles, and we did some embossing. So that was February. And then in March we played with some texture paste and coloring your texture paste. So really with these along the way, I've been trying to do some sort of technique with them. And then in April, we did this really fun technique with tri-blend markers on vellum. So that was April. So if you're looking for any of these, they are in a playlist on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. Okay, so today, like I said, I don't have a huge plan. But this is, I grabbed some stuff. There was a photo earlier. So I pulled out some re-inkers. We're going to do something that I haven't done in a really long time. And we are going to create a fun little ink pad on a baby wipe and do some stamping. So like I said, I've decided we're going to use this May title. Good morning, Gay. So that is from the months of the year. And then I thought, we've been doing a lot of stuff with this Mothers Are the Best. So I thought we would play with this stamp set, because if you're playing along at all, you might have it in your stash, or you might be playing with it a little bit too. So like I said, I've grabbed some re-inkers, and we're going to make a fun, hey Leona, we're going to make a little ink pad on some baby wipes. And I wanted to talk to you too about these papers. So these are from the annual idea book, and so I thought I would use them kind of as my neutral background. So this one is the silver foil patterns. There's also a gold foil patterns, but I just wanted to show you a couple of things about these to start off with. So I don't know if you realize this, but these papers take ink really well. And the silver or gold resists the ink. So I was just playing a little bit beforehand, and I don't know that we'll actually do this on our finished project. I'm going to wait till we stamp our flowers. But I thought I might just show you this. So I grabbed my green apple, because for my greens I have here sage and green apple. I have blues, so I have Carolina and bluebird, and then I have raspberry and candy apple. So I grabbed my green because there's leaves on this. So this is one of the prints. They're like leaves and branches. So I thought I would just show you this quickly. So you know how we have in the past used the ink for ink pad and a water brush and then colored things, right? So you can do that to color the leaves if you want. If you wanted to just kind of add a little bit of color to just parts of it. So like I said, we'll see once we do our flowers whether we will actually do this on our insert or not. But then also don't forget, you could take that same ink with your water brush and you can actually splatter on your background, just add a little bit more color. So there are some green dots. I don't know that it'll actually catch it. So that is an option. Sorry, I'm just looking for the paper towel from my water brush. Actually threw it away already. Okay, so then the other thing is you can just take a sponge or dauber and rub on the background. Here, I need a bigger piece than this. So here's the plaid pattern. So I'm just going to take that same green apple and lightly pounce on my background. You can also gently rub. And so what's happening is the white is actually picking up the color. Oh, I maybe should have grabbed a darker color. Maybe I'll grab a darker color to make it more visible so you guys can see. Let's go with, here is candy apple. You should be able to see that, no problem. So I'm just going to use a different part of my sponge here. So, and I'm just picking up a little bit out of the lid. You can also use your ink pad. Okay, so what happens is you can see the red background picks it up, but it does not attach to the silver or gold, depending on which you're using. So you can add a little bit of subtle color to your background if you wanted, so that it's not quite so stark. So I just wanted to kind of show you that. I think we're going to kind of play along this avenue more. So, okay, here we go. So I have just a plain piece of raspberry cardstock. I do have a piece of this cut down. Like I said, I think we will color that. And then I cut out 2 brackets, and they are from the Stitched Simple Brackets. We're going to stamp our month on here. And then the idea is we're going to do some flowers and we're going to put them around the edges. So that is kind of my plan. So first things first, I'm going to grab a baby wipe and we're going to make just like a fun little puddle pad. And I need some White Daisy cardstock. So I'll show you kind of what you can make happen. So I literally just poured some out earlier this morning just to make sure that I remembered how to actually do it. So here's, for an example, I've just put some colors down and played around with them. So that's what we're gonna kind of do. So I just need some white daisy here. Okay. And I'm gonna use just my little sponge here underneath. So the reason that I picked this stamp set to complement it is because there's May flowers, right? April showers bring May flowers. I think that somebody said that on one of my lives the other day. So it kind of coordinates nicely with all of the May things. Okay, I'm just gonna move a little bit of stuff out of my way so I don't feel like I'm super crowded here. There we go. Okay, so you can do this with anything. It doesn't have to be a solid background like this. You could just do it with the lines, and it just kind of gives you a little bit of a different look. So here we go. We're going to go with the raspberry and candy apple. Okay, and I'm actually going to give these a few minutes just to kind of do their thing. I'm also going to do a sage and green apple for the leaves. You could have like color mixing, all sorts of fun stuff you can do with this actual technique. So I'm going to do some blue ones. I'm not convinced we're going to use them in the end, but we'll do them also. Okay. Like I said too, you could have fun with, excuse me. It is allergy season and the winds are super high today. You could have totally fun with color mixing too, right? So let's see. Maybe we will do another one. And we'll have a little bit more. We'll do some of the red. And some blue. I have not done this in such a long time. So oh, well, it got we're supposed to start getting rain for the next few days, of course, because it's almost the long weekend, right? Okay, so I'm going to do some of the backgrounds and we'll see what happens. So I'll put on one of the leaves here, and so you can see you get kind of like a mottled look, like I've got the, and if you pick up different parts of the ink off of different parts of the baby wipe, then you'll get different looks, right? So we'll do our detail on top of this probably in just black. So we'll just do a few of these because it's not a very big space too, right? So I don't need very much. But you do want to make sure that you are letting it sit in the ink long enough that it actually picks up the color. And I do have my all-purpose mat down, so nothing is going to, and you can actually move it around even on different spots. And so it just gives you kind of a different look. So you can go back and look at all the different things we've done with it so far, this same stamp set. And this, it kind of almost looks like, so some of it'll look tie-dyed, some of it'll look more like batik, all those fun things. Okay, so let's do some flowers. So this flower, right, there's a background and then a top. So just to make it easier, I made sure that when I lined them up on my block, I have the little line at the bottom, and I have the stamps the same way with the line at the bottom. So when I do my background, it makes it super easy to stamp my top. So here we'll play in this one. So this is the raspberry and candy apple. So you can see each one looks different because I've picked it up off of a different spot on the baby wipe. Okay, so I'm just going to get some of this ink off because we're going to go into the blues here. And you'll see, because I still have a little bit of the other ink on here, we're going to get some color changing happening, right? So we've got little bits of purple happening in here too. Okay, and then this is the one that's all the reds and the blues. So you get kind of like, so this would look really great with like that stars and sparklers kind of color combination. Good morning, Pauline. Okay, so, but I think for this one, we're going to stick basically with the reds and the pinks because I did the raspberry background. So I just want to get some of this blue off of here. But I just wanted to kind of show you, you could do any kind of combination that you wanted to. So you get this nice like a modeled kind of look. And so we will, we'll do one more, and then maybe we'll do, no, I think we probably have enough leaves, but we might stamp the background on top now. So I'm going to somehow carefully move this out of my way. But there's lots of fun things that you can do with reinkers. So I don't have all the reinkers. I just have ones that are some of my favorite color palettes. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry for just a few seconds before we put the top on it. Okay, so I have my background here, and I have, so raspberry I have, and then I actually think we're going to go with this one because it's a little more contemporary looking than the leaves. Okay, and then I have this one. So then my thought process is to kind of tuck some of these flowers and leaves in. So we're going to stamp the May on here from the months of the year. So I have not used this one yet. So I'm just gonna do it in black, I think. I wonder though. Now I'm wondering if I should do it in a color. Okay, you know what? We're going to, I think I have an extra one. We're going to stamp it twice and then we'll decide at the end. I just have to look and see because I did cut out two because I quite often change my mind. Okay, so we're going to stamp it once in black, I think, and we'll do once in raspberry, and then when we put it together, we'll be able to tell easily which way it should be. So I'm going to do my raspberry first. Okay, and because I haven't used this yet, I will just test it. Okay, so I'll stamp it once in raspberry to match just the little border piece, and then I'll stamp it once in black, and then we will decide at the end which one to use. Okay, and then on this piece, not like the leaves, you can color, but this one I think I'm going to splatter with a little bit of ink. So, and maybe we could even splatter it just with the raspberry because it happens to be right here. I'll just wipe this off quickly. Okay, so there we go. Now we have two options when we get ready to put it together. So now we are done with the May stamp. I'm going to just set it aside. Okay, so now we'll take the raspberry and our water brush, and I'm just going to pick up a little bit and just splatter it onto the background, and it'll kind of tie everything together. So I've just got like a little bit off the lid, and I'm just going to splatter it lightly. And there we go. Okay, so now that just kind of ties our background together. This will go on here like this, and now we will stamp the top on some of our flowers here. Hopefully they're dry enough. Okay, so now I just have my lined image and my black. And I actually only have to do ones that I think I'm going to use. So now you can see how pretty it actually looks with the top layer on. So I don't think I'm gonna need, it's not a very big space, so I don't think I'm gonna need more than like 3 of them. And I'm just kind of picking ones that are just slightly different from each other. Okay, so I've got one that's stronger and then 2 more that are a little bit lighter. And then I can stamp my leaves on top here. So like I said, it's not a very big space, but like I've been trying to do some sort of little technique when we're doing them. Okay, I won't need that many, but that's okay. And then I'll just do these and then we're ready to start putting it together. There we go. Okay, so now we are ready to start putting this all together. Okay, so I'm just going to trim out the parts that I want. So this one. So you can see on this one we got purple happening, right? Because there was the colors all mixed together. Okay, there we go. So I'll just quickly try and trim them down. So the thing about this one is you do have to fussy cut it. So if you didn't want to fussy cut it, then I would suggest that maybe you use the other stamp set that we've been playing a lot with, the one that coordinates with the album, the last album retreat, not this one that was this past weekend, which I had so much fun doing. It's the one I actually have almost kept up with. Just because of the time change, I didn't do the last layout of the first night. So that is on my to-do list. So for me, as somebody that loves to teach, I find them very good for kind of pushing me outside of my comfort zone. Okay, so look how pretty that's going to look. So it looks stunning when it's all trimmed out, right? So think about all the different things we've actually done with this stamp set. Like I've done a layout with the lovely and played with all the more muted colors. I did a card I think I did 2 layouts with the Lovely. So like completely opposite spectrums of like the color palette with the same stamp set. So I'm just trying to get like a lot out of one stamp set, but you could also use any floral to do this. This would also be great for a butterfly. So like the butterfly from the You Are Enough would be great playing with this. Depending on how much longer this takes me. If my little puddles aren't dried out, I can pull out the stamp set from the You Are Enough and I'll show you what a butterfly looks like with the same method. So I would obviously play with, if I wanted to use it to coordinate with more like the You Are Enough papers, I would obviously pick a different color palette, but oh, and so then also my other live this week is going to be using the sketch. So last week I created a double page layout with a sketch that I adapted from an 8.5 by 11 sketch that I created. So I created the 8.5 by 11 3 times. And so now I have created that 12 by 12. So once I did it with the party time paper, and then I let you guys vote whether we would do You Are Enough or Hillside Cottage, and You Are Enough won. So I did that one. But I said, because it was so close, we would come back and do Hillside Cottage. So that is what the other live is going to be this week. So it will be either Thursday or Friday. I'm not certain yet. So my son is on his 1 week of vacation for the summer. And he needs to go to the mall and get some new clothes. So as soon as he lets me know what day we'll do that, then I can decide which day the second live will be. Okay, so we'll just quickly do this one. So obviously, if you're going to do like a layout, I might lean towards something, a stamp set with a thin cut attached to it to make this process a little bit quicker. So because this is obviously a small scale, I am not overly worried about fussy cutting out a few pieces. But if you were cutting out like a lot for a double page spread, but I have done that too, right? Just sat and stamped and then fussy cut. Okay. So here we go. Now we just need to put the whole thing together. Okay. Which do you think? Raspberry or black? Raspberry or black? So there's actually benefits to both of them, but we'll see if you guys have a choice. So there's the black with it. And there is the raspberry. I'll give it a few seconds. I'll clear off my little space here. I'll grab my background piece for the calendar. So the fun thing is, right, this is usable over and over and over again. So these make a great gift. You like the black, Leona? So I'm just going to, you like, okay guys, somebody, we need a few more vote black, okay, because somebody's going to have to break the tie. Okay, so I have the raspberry background there. And then here is our silver splattered with our little bit of raspberry ink to kind of tie everything all together. Okay, so I'm going to pop this up just on thin 3D foam tape so I can tuck some stuff behind. So okay, I think that black is going to win, but there's actually, they both look great. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, something like that. So I probably should have dropped the camera for today. Here, let me make the table bigger. There we go. Now I definitely should have dropped the camera. Okay, so I have a little bit of silver embellishing thread, and I thought it would kind of just bring out the silver from the paper. So I just pull off or cut off a big piece, and I kind of wrap it around 3 of my fingers and then roll it in a glue dot. So, and typically I pick whichever size glue dot I have right in front of me. So I'm just gonna lay this here. So that it's ready. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this off. This will be right here. Okay, so now we just need to glue everything together. So I am going to, I kind of wanted this down here in like the 1/3 level, right, to draw your eye to it. So this one is just the green apple, and it kind of ties in the leaves that we stamped, or yeah, we stamped them. Okay, so then from here I'm going to add my embellishing thread right here, and if I need to trim off the little ends, then I just do. Okay, and then I'm going to add May up on thin 3D foam tape. So now I can play with, this is the thin, so I think I said that, but then I can add some of the flowers with the thick ones to get them to the same level. So I'm all about the layers, and I think it adds so much personality to them. Okay, so then I'm going to add this one in here also, just with some thin 3D foam tape, and just on the top, because that's the part that is overlapping. Okay, so this is going to go right here, and then I'm going to lay in my bigger branch right under there. And then these little pieces, I'll just add a glue dot and then tuck them in. So this one I'm going to add down here, so I need some thin 3D foam tape back there. And then the last one that I put here, I'll pop it up right on thick 3D foam tape so that it's kind of like the top layer. And then I'll add my last few leaves in there. Okay, so these ones can just go on with glue dots, and I'm just going to kind of tuck them in where I want them to go. And then we'll add some centers to our flowers. It would make would make an excellent card. So that's kind of too, with lots of these ones, that's what I've kind of done with them, right? Like after, because this is just a nice small space to work with. And so I had to keep the months going because we've been doing the months. So, but they're perfect for card fronts. It's totally adaptable to a card front, no problem. Right, so I've just got my silver sequins here because we went with silver. You could totally use silver glitter gems instead. Totally, they all work. If you had picked gold, right, like the gold background, you could use any of the gold glitter. So I'm just adding my sequins onto glue dots. Okay, so I'm going to do one white and then two silver. I just need my right sizes. So I'm just dumping some out into the lid. There we go. And then I will actually add a few sequins onto the background too. So I'm going to add, well, I have it here, a bigger one. And an iridescent one I have, and then Oh, of course, here we go, right on the top of my pile there. There we go. So all of these, like I said, would make great cards, right? You could totally, you just have to adapt the background because this is just a little bit. So I think that my raspberry is 4 and 4 3/4. So you could just make it a little bit longer, right? Okay, so now I'm just going to add a few onto my background to tie it all together, and then we're done. But I will show you the layout that will work from later this week. Okay. There we go. So that is how May turned out. So I'll take some up close pictures and post them. I seem to have a rancor on my hand, but here I'll pull out 2. I'll show you. I don't see my, oh, here we go. So you can do this same thing, right, with this. So this is the You Are Enough stamp and thin cut. So I would maybe so you could kind of, I'll leave this over here, but you could see how a butterfly would work with this. So if you did your, and there's a few fun things you could do with this one because there's a background and then a front. So you could do it in the blues. Like this. Just like that. Or you could then also, I would normally let this dry for just a second before I mucked around in it, but you could then also pick up something that's multicolored, which is so pretty, and stamp on top of it like this, right? And you get like all the different colors happening there on that top piece. So that's just kind of like another way you could use the exact same technique. Okay, so there is that. So I'll quickly show you the layouts. So I don't know if you remember it, but so this was what we did with the first one. So it was party time. So if you don't have the 12 by 12 sketch, just comment sketch and I'll send you in the right direction to download the sketch. So that's the party time one. And then I redid it with the You Are Enough and some holographic paper. So this is exactly the same sketch, but it looks completely different. So then this is the You Are Enough. And then, so next we are going to do it with the Hillside Cottage, because that was the other one that I let you pick from. So that will be later this week, and I will post whether it'll be Thursday or Friday. I'm just, like I said, not 100% certain yet, but that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope you have a great day, and hopefully some of you will play along with this technique or add another insert to your perpetual calendar. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.